College Beach weekend barely got started, and it is already off to a rough start.
Someone was shot tonight at the oceanfront. It happened at 19th Street and Parks Avenue. It took Virginia Beach police only a few minutes to track down a suspect vehicle, and we're told they have detained 2 men. Chanu Her has been at the oceanfront all evening and joins us now live where the shooting happened. Chanu.
Well, guys, this is where police say they heard the gunshots earlier and where their shooting could have happened. This is near the convention center on Pavilion Drive and 19th Street. Now, police say they heard gunshots and then they came out this way. So when we got here, this is what it looks like. It's near the convention center and the Hilton right here. It was already cleared by the time we got here and there were no people here. But earlier today, when we spoke to police, this is what they said, exactly what they were preparing for in case anything like this happened. They have cameras all around the area here, and they're keeping an eye on things like this. And they say even though they have a lot of officers out at the oceanfront, they want to still have eyes on different areas here at the oceanfront, just in case anything goes wrong. Now, police say they do have a center set up where they have cameras, and they also have where they talked about different strategies on how they will tackle this weekend and how they will approach this weekend as more and more people start to come in throughout the weekend. Now, the chief did brief the officers today, saying they have worked hard for this and they've planned for every single outcome that could come out of this. They said that there's been a lot of chatter throughout the city just about keeping this night and this weekend safe and secure, and they want to do all they can to be able to make sure that not only the people in this city are safe, but also the businesses, the citizens, and all the people who are coming here to visit are safe. Now, one of the lieutenants did show us what the command center looks like. It's a joint information center as well as a camera operations center. So that's where all the police officers and representatives from the city are, to make sure that they have enough communication with each other, to make sure that they all know what's going on and they have real-time feeding, and this is what they showed us today. The annual College Beach weekend kicked off Friday night. Thousands of people hitting the oceanfront for a weekend. But for Virginia Beach and the police department, it's something they've been working on for a while. We worked very hard. We looked at every outcome that we could have, and the bottom line is we have a very safe, secure plan. We have enough resources, I think, to be able to do all the things that we do on a normal holiday, plus some. Chief Jim Cervera briefed his officers Friday night before more hit the streets. He hit on their main goals for the weekend: safety and security. There's a lot of chatter that's going on in the entire city and in the region. The number one goal is safety and security for all the young folks who are coming to visit this weekend. Safety and security for our business folks who are here year-round. With visitors far outweighing the number of officers patrolling, police are using all of their resources to make sure everyone is safe. Their joint information and camera control center allows them to lend a hand and a second pair of eyes. This is going to be primarily where our camera operators are going to be working. Lieutenant Billy Zelms says there are dozens of cameras along the oceanfront. This really allows us to use the cameras as a force multiplier. The cameras allow police to get real-time updates rather than relying on third-party information if they are responding to calls. And through the Joint Information Center, they can send real-time updates to citizens if need be. Throughout the weekend, we're going to be communicating with one another, kind of monitoring the social media feeds and putting out information to the public. So if we see anything that causes us concern or just that we think that people need to know, we're going to be able to put that information out in real time. All the planning put into this operation by the city and police is meant to protect everyone, guests and citizens. We have 465,000 people in this city, and their safety and security is just as important as everybody on Atlantic Avenue. Now, you heard Lieutenant Zelms said there that they will be keeping an eye on social media and just monitoring what's going on there so they know what's going on. They will be keeping an eye on a few trending hashtags this weekend. That just helps them figure out what's going on social media so they can also monitor that, as well as all the activity that's going on here at the oceanfront. Live in Virginia Beach, Chanu Her, 13 News Now.
Earlier this evening, traffic detours went into effect at the oceanfront in order to prepare for a College Beach weekend. Traffic at the end of I-264 eastbound was rerouted at Parks Avenue. Drivers were redirected onto the westbound lanes. Also, the eastbound exit at South Burton Neck Road and the westbound exit at First Colonial were also closed. City officials say the closures would stay in place tonight until traffic eased up, but the same detours will be in place tomorrow night starting at 5 p.m. Stay with us throughout the weekend for more coverage of College Beach weekend. Chinuher will do a live Facebook report after our newscast is over. We will also bring you coverage from the oceanfront tomorrow night. Look for our updates on 13newsnow.com.
Good news for some homeowners in North Carolina still dealing with damage from Hurricane Matthew. Emergency management officials say 4 communities will receive more than $2 million in federal and state funds. Storm victims in Camden County will receive more than $900,000 of that. The money will be used to help homeowners elevate or rebuild their homes or move to an area that is not prone to flooding. More than 3,000 people applied for a housing grant after Hurricane Matthew. It seems some groups are placing big bets on New Kent. Just this week, a group bought Colonial Downs with plans to reopen it with new betting machines. Then next month, the county will also address the possibility of a casino setting up shop nearby. Karina Bolster talked to nearby residents who are willing to take a gamble on the business ventures.
If you drive by Colonial Downs, you'll notice the gates closed and locked since it shut down in 2014, but soon enough they'll be open once again to the public.
I'm glad to see it reopening. The county needs the revenue.
New Kent leaders estimate an annual economic impact of nearly $350 million once Colonial Downs is up and running again.
I come from the country, so we love the horses, and as you can tell, we're animal people. But yeah, it's very nice, it's clean. And it was always a fun place to go.
The venue is expected to introduce slot-like betting machines in order for patrons to bet on races that have already happened. That's thanks to Governor Northam's signature on a bill earlier this month.
Colonial Downs has suffered in the past with actual patrons showing up. And so they're hoping that the patron level will be higher with that type of venue.
Speaking of gambling, county leaders are also looking at the possibility of a casino coming to the area. A group working with the Pamunkey tribe just bought 600 acres of land off Interstate 64.
We are interested. I don't know a whole lot about it yet. There is a meeting the county is having, and I've signed up to go to that.
Some folks are a bit hesitant at this point without more information.
That large of a casino puts a very large tax on our resources, our services, first responders and all, so in our schools, because it'll bring a lot of development and housing. So it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out.
There's no official word yet on when the Colonial Downs racetrack will reopen.
A maintenance worker at Green Run High School in Virginia Beach is accused of luring teenage girls online. 49-year-old Robert Cox is accused of using apps such as Meet Me and Kik to chat with girls. According to federal court documents, Cox admitted to posing as a teenage boy and got naked images of the girls. Authorities raided his home on Glastonbury Circle this week looking for evidence. Cox told investigators he did it for fantasy and never intended to meet up with anyone. Neighbors were surprised, saying Cox has a daughter who was about the same age as the girls he allegedly talked to online.
That really surprises me, only because of how close he is to his daughter.
You'll be surprised, man. You'll be surprised. Some people don't think about what they would want for their kids before they do onto others, you know.
School officials tell us Cox is on administrative leave. He is facing charges of coercion and enticement of a minor. His preliminary hearing was supposed to be today, but it was continued because he doesn't have an attorney. He says he is struggling to contact family members for support.
Judge has delayed Stormy Daniels' lawsuit against President Trump and the president's personal attorney. The judge today agreed to delay the case and set a hearing for the end of July. The president's attorney, Michael Cohen, asked for the delay after FBI agents raided his home and office earlier this month. The FBI was looking for records about a non-disclosure agreement Stormy Daniels allegedly signed before the presidential election. Porn star is suing to invalidate the confidentiality agreement she says she signed that prevents her from talking about an alleged affair with Trump in 2006. Today, a judge ordered house arrest for Bill Cosby until the TV star is sentenced on his sexual assault conviction. Cosby must also wear a GPS monitoring device. The judge announced the modified order a day after saying that Cosby would be allowed to move around Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, where the entertainer lives. Now Cosby can leave his house only to meet with his lawyers or to get medical treatment, but he needs permission in advance. His sentencing date will be sometime in the next 60 to 90 days.
The United Nations is applauding the historic summit between the leaders of North and South Korea. Photos show the two leaders holding hands and talking about peace. Kim Jong-un became the first North Korean leader to set foot on South Korean territory. The two leaders promised to sign a peace treaty this year, formally ending the Korean War and pledging to end the nuclear weapons program. Tonight, President Trump said he is looking forward to meeting with Kim Jong-un. He says his meeting with the North Korean leader will happen in the coming weeks.
President Trump also keeping an eye on the House Intelligence Committee's Russia investigation. The Republican-led committee says it found no evidence that the Trump campaign colluded with Russia in the 2016 presidential race. Tonight, the president told reporters at the White House that he is honored by the report, calling it conclusive and strong. Today, the House Intelligence Committee declared the end of its Russia probe, but Democrats say the committee did not gather enough evidence to support its findings.